My Uncle Ray has a cattle ranch about 40 minutes outside of a town in New Mexico that I am not going to name because he still lives there, and he asked me not to. The summer after I dropped out of community college, he offered me a job for 3 months, room and board plus cash, because he needed hands and I needed to not live with my parents. My cousin Derek was already working there. Derek is a couple years older than me, and he'd been on that land his whole life. The first 2 weeks were just work, fences, water, moving cattle, heat that makes you hate the sun. Ray's place is big enough that you can go a whole afternoon without seeing another person. The nearest neighbor is over a ridge. At night it gets so quiet you can hear the metal of the windmill ticking. Around the start of the 3rd week we found a cow down in the south pasture. It wasn't eaten. That's the part Ray kept repeating. Coyotes eat. Mountain lions eat. This thing was just dead, on its side, eyes open, and there were these shallow cuts along the hide like something had started to take the skin off and then changed its mind. Ray stood over it for a long time, and then he told Derek and me to bury it and not talk about it in town. 2 days later, a man showed up at the main house, looking for work. He said his name was Cal. He was maybe 40, thin, wearing a denim jacket that was too heavy for July. He didn't have a car. Ray asked him how he got out there, and Cal just kind of smiled and said he'd walked from the highway. That's 8 miles in July. Ray hired him anyway, because we were short, and because Ray is the kind of man who hires people who show up. Cal slept in the extra bunk in the barn loft. He worked hard, I'll give him that. He didn't talk much. He never ate with us. Ray would plate food and Cal would take it and go sit on the fence line, and I never actually saw him put any of it in his mouth. The ranch dogs, who like everybody, would not go near him. The little one, Scout, would start this low, continuous growl anytime Cal walked into the yard, and Scout didn't even growl at coyotes. Derek noticed his eyes first. He told me at night, sitting on the porch. He said, "Have you looked at Cal's eyes when he's not looking at you?" I hadn't. The next afternoon I did. They were a normal brown until the light hit them a certain way, and then they looked like they had a film over them, like an animal's eyes when your headlights catch them, except it was 2 in the afternoon. I told myself I was being weird. The cow thing had everybody jumpy. Friday night, Ray went into town for a feed run, and to stay over with a woman he was seeing, which he did every couple of weeks. Derek and I were supposed to hold the place down. Cal was in the loft. Around 10, Derek and I were in the kitchen of the main house playing cards when Scout started screaming. I don't know how else to describe it. Dogs don't make that sound. We ran outside with flashlights. Scout was in the yard on his side, still alive, shaking, out in the pasture, maybe 100 yards off. There was something on all 4s moving along the fence. My first thought was a calf. Then it stood up. It stood up the way a person stands up, except it kept going, like it had more spine than it should, and when it was fully upright, it was taller than any of us. It had a coyote's head. I know how that reads. I'm telling you what I saw. The hide was hanging on it wrong, loose at the shoulders, and underneath I could see something pale. It turned its face toward our flashlights, and for a second the coyote face wasn't sitting right, and I could see a man's mouth under it, open, like the hide was a mask that had slipped. Derek said Cal's name. I don't know why he did that. The thing dropped back to all 4s and ran. It did not run like a coyote, and it did not run like a man. It covered the south pasture in a straight line at a speed I still cannot make sense of, and then it was gone over the ridge. We went up to the loft with a rifle. Cal's bunk was empty. His denim jacket was on the floor. Under the bunk, folded like laundry, was a coyote pelt that was still damp. It smelled like an animal that had been dead for a day. Not tanned, not treated, just taken off. Ray came back Saturday morning. We told him everything. He walked up to the loft, looked at the pelt, took it, and burned it in a barrel behind the barn. He told us Cal wasn't coming back and that we were not going to put his name in our mouths again. He called a guy from the next county over. An older man who came out that afternoon and walked the fence line and put something in the ground at the four corners of the property. Ray never explained it, and I didn't ask. I finished the summer. I slept with a chair under my door every night. Scout recovered, but he would never go into the south pasture again. We didn't find any more cows like that. I have thought about Cal a lot in the years since. I have thought about the fact that he worked next to me for a week and a half, and I shook his hand the day he arrived. I don't know what I touched. Lauren and I were driving from Phoenix up to Salt Lake for her cousin's wedding. We'd been dating about a year, and this was the first family thing of hers I was invited to, so I was already nervous before the trip even started. We left after she got off work, which meant we were doing most of the drive at night. I was fine with that. Less traffic. Around 1 a.m, we were on this empty stretch through northern Arizona, the kind of road where you go 20 minutes without passing another pair of headlights. The tank was getting low, so we pulled off at one of those lonely gas stations that looks like it hasn't been remodeled since the 80s. There was one other car in the lot, a dark pickup with no one in it. The lights inside the store were on. Lauren went in to pee and grab drinks. I stayed at the pump. I had the driver's door open, and I was leaning against it looking at my phone, because the pump was slow. I heard the passenger door handle rattle. I looked up, and Lauren was standing at the passenger side of the car, looking at me through the window. She was smiling. I started to say something like that was fast, and then I actually looked at her. Her hair was right. Her jacket was right. The smile was too wide. It went up too far, and it wasn't doing anything to her eyes. Her eyes were open a little too much, like she was forcing them. She pulled the handle again, harder, and when the door didn't open because it was locked, she put her face closer to the glass, and she said my name. It was Lauren's voice. It was also not. There was a delay in it, like she was remembering how the words were supposed to sound. I didn't move. I didn't unlock the door. I just stood there with the pump still going. Then the bell on the store door chimed, and Lauren walked out holding 2 bottles of water, and she was coming from the store, and the thing at the passenger door was still there. For maybe 2 seconds, I was looking at both of them in the same frame. The one at the door stopped smiling. Its face went completely blank, the way a person looks when they forget they're supposed to be performing being a person, and then it stepped backward into the dark on the other side of the pumps, and I lost it. There was no sound of footsteps. It was just not there. Lauren got to the car and asked me why I looked like that. I told her to get in. I didn't make her go back for the drinks she'd set on the hood. I didn't even finish pumping. I hung the nozzle, got in, and I pulled out of there faster than I should have. I told her what I saw once we were doing 80. She didn't laugh. She went very quiet, and then she said that while she was in the bathroom, she had heard me knock on the door and tell her to hurry up, and she'd told me to wait, and when she came out, I wasn't in the store. She'd assumed I'd gone back to the car. We still had 4 hours to Salt Lake. I wanted to drive until the sun came up and not stop for anything. About 40 minutes later, Lauren said she thought she saw someone in the ditch running alongside the car. I looked. I didn't see anyone. Then I did. It was far off the shoulder, out in the scrub, but it was keeping pace with us at 75 miles an hour, low to the ground, and every time my headlights swung with a curve, I would lose it, and then it would be there again in the next straightaway. I did not slow down. I did not speed up in a panic. I just drove. Lauren had her feet up on the seat, and she was crying without making noise, which I think scared me more than the thing in the dark. We passed a rest area, and I almost pulled in because my hands were starting to cramp. As we went by, I heard, through my closed window, Lauren's voice yelling my name from the rest area lot, behind us, getting smaller. Lauren was in the passenger seat with her hand over her mouth. We got to a well-lit truck stop just over the Utah line around 4:30, and I sat under the lights with the doors locked until the sky started to change. Nothing came into the lot that I could see. We still made the wedding. I have never told her family why we showed up looking the way we did. Lauren and I still talk about that night sometimes. We still don't agree on whether the thing at the passenger door looked exactly like her or just close. I know what I saw. It looked exactly like her, except it had forgotten how a face is supposed to work. I do not drive that stretch of road at night anymore. If we go north, we leave in the morning and we fill the tank in Flagstaff, and we do not stop until there are other cars around.